Hello guys, welcome to iTube Physics channel. So today we are going to start a new problem on projectile motion. So this time the problem is like this. A projectile is launched at an angle 30 degree with a speed of 20 meters per second from a height of 50 meters. The first part of the problem is you need to find the total time of flight. Again, the second part is horizontal range. You need to find this total range. The projectile travel horizontal direction. And the third part is the velocity with which the object hits the ground. So meaning when the projectile hits the ground, what would be the speed? So how do you solve this? The first step to solve the problem is you need to divide this velocity into two perpendicular directions. The first direction is in the horizontal, other one is vertical. If you divide this in the horizontal direction, if you divide this velocity vector towards this angle, we say cos. So in the horizontal direction we will get 20 cos 30. So if you simplify, you will get 17.32 meter per second. And similarly in the vertical direction, you will be having 20 sin 30. So sin 30 is half, therefore you will get 10 meter per second. So we found the horizontal and the vertical component, the initial speed of our projectile. So now we will try to find the total time of flight. So how do you find the total time of flight? I'll use s equal to ut plus half gt squared downward. If I use s equal to ut plus half gt squared downward, the projectile is actually traveling 50 meters downward. So I can put 50. But what is the initial speed? Remember, the projectile is actually thrown with an angle 30. So if you divide, you are getting a vertically upward component 10 meters per second. But here we are using the equation downward. So I need to put here minus 10. Remember this. Minus 10 into t. T is the total time of flight. I need to put a plus sign here. Why? Because we use the equation downward and the gravity also downward, so I can put a plus sign. Half 10 into t squared. So from here I can simplify and I can come up with an equation t squared minus 2t minus 10 is equal to 0. So from here I can find two values for t. One is 4.31, other one is minus 2.31. So you can omit this minus 2.31 because time cannot be negative. So you can say only this answer is the correct answer. So the total time of flight is 4.31. The second part of the problem is you need to find the total horizontal distance traveled by the object. So how do you find this? I'm going to use the same equation s equal to ut plus half gt squared, but this time in the horizontal direction. Remember, in the horizontal direction there is no acceleration, so I can say this part should be 0. So let me say this total range is r1. So r1 is equal to, what is the initial speed in the horizontal direction, which is 17.32, and we said this horizontal component doesn't change at all because there is no forces or acceleration in this direction. So this part would be simply 0. I have to substitute only this velocity, this doesn't change, into total time. So if you multiply, you will get the horizontal range as 74.32 65 meters. And the third part of the problem is you need to find the velocity with which the object hits the ground. So meaning when the object reaches the ground, what is the speed of the object? So how do you find it? Remember this, we said the horizontal component doesn't change, so whatever the position you take, you will get same 17.32 meter per second. So even if you take this point, you'll be having 17.32 ms minus 1. So you need to know only what is the vertical component so that you can find the resultant velocity. So how do you find it? So I'm going to use v equal to u plus gt. I need to know what is the final speed, and the initial speed is, remember, minus 10 because you throw the ball. We throw the ball with 30 degree. It makes 30 degree with 20 meter per second. So we divide the velocity component. Here you see the upward direction we got 10. So if you want to use this downward, I need to put minus 10 meter per second. And also the gravity is downward plus 10 into total time of flight is, we found, 4.31. So if you simplify this, you will obtain 33.1 meter per second. So meaning, so we said this component doesn't change, 17.32, but this component just now we obtained 33.1 ms minus 1. So you have now two velocity components. Okay, so you have two, so this is 17.32, this doesn't change, and 33.1. So you can find the resultant. So how do you find the resultant? Simply you can use the Pythagoras theorem. So 17.32 squared plus 33.1 squared. So if you simplify this, you get 37.36 meter per second is the resultant velocity when the object hits the ground. And also you can, because this is velocity is a vector, so it is always better to mention the direction of the velocity component. So how do you find the direction of this velocity vector? So let me choose this as angle theta, so I can find tan theta is equal to opposite side. So this is our opposite side, 17.32, divided by the adjacent side, which is 33.1. So from here I can simplify and you'll get the answer as 27.6 degree. I hope you understood this problem. So we'll move to the next question. Thank you for watching my tutorial.